Thank you.
I'm like, did I block you? Did I block you?
You give doctor in real life too.
People will ask the doctor question every once in a while.
Do they?
I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, you don't want me
As your
doing
doctor?
anything
You're just so like serious. They trust you.
I could, there's one thing that I could do medically, to intubate somebody, to put the tubes down your throat, like
Oh,
and everything
wow.
like that, because they have these practice dummies
Did you learn that on the show?
on the show, because, you know, one, as an anesthesiologist, it is a thing that anesthesiologists do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I went over to be a firefighter EMT, like, we had to get good at it. So that's the one thing I could probably do was, if I had a laryngoscope, I could probably get the tubes down your throat. Yeah.
Okay, we love that.
You learn a little bit every once in a while you do a medical show.
Right, but don't call you for nothing, no.
I am not your dude.
Okay.
You end up worse. I could do CPR on you.
Okay.
If you had to.
We love it.
Mouth to mouth, we can make that work. I can do all these things.
Y'all heard that? Okay. Okay, we're gonna kick it off right here and right now. BET Talks, I'm your host, Mia Bell, and I cannot believe I'm looking at him in real life. I'm talking producer, activist, actor, family man first, always. Primetime player, Jason George. Woo! How you feeling?
What? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
You get applause? I
Absolutely.
like it here. I like it here. They make you feel good. They
Uh-huh.
just stroke the ego all the way. I like
Yes.
it.
Grey's Anatomy. Oh my gosh, the longest running TV series. And you're back?
Yeah.
We're all really excited about that. But we're going to start off with a game.
Okay, I'm getting in game mode.
It's called This or That.
This or that.
Yes. And we're going to do it the Black TV series way. Okay?
Okay.
So you pick Martin versus the Jamie Foxx Show.
They're both hilarious. I'm gonna go Martin on that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Martin on that one. Jamie's a more versatile overall actor, but that show, Martin, everybody was hilarious in that show.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. Snowfall versus The Wire. What you gonna go with?
The Wire. All respect to Snowfall, but The Wire is all time.
Mm-hmm.
The Wire is all time. My little brother, Jarvis George, he's dope. He's a great actor. He's did 2-3 episodes of The Wire, like playing, is it Ronnie Moe? I love him more than life because of my brother, but I hate him for being on The Wire before I was, and I never got the chance.
Man.
Yeah, I'm not salty about it.
All right, last one. Eve versus Moesha.
I gotta go Eve.
Okay.
I gotta go Eve, only because every Friday night on Eve was a party.
Ooh.
We would shoot, like, we would get an entire show in the can without an audience, so then we could be free when the audience was there. So they always used the audience show because it was always better. We were always popping more. So you got a great comedian going up. Our warm-up person was fantastic. We had a DJ killing it because, you know, it's Eve's show, so the DJ had to be, like, on point.
Right.
The music was off the chain, and then we would have the show done by 8:30 on a Friday. So we ended up doing karaoke on the regular.
Really?
Eve can sing. Little known fact, Eve can actually sing.
What is it like to be a fixture on so many, you know, nostalgic Black shows that we all grew up on, to then a fixture on such a cultural show like Grey's Anatomy?
You know what? The best feeling that I remember having was around season, 12 or something like that. It was when the plane crash happened. Eric Dane's character, McSteamy, was dying, and we're all waiting outside his room, hoping that he pulls through. And I looked around this room as we're shooting the scene, and I realized there was something like a half dozen or more people of color in this scene.
Really?
And it's not a quote-unquote Black show.
Right.
And it was just one of those things where I was like, yes. I was like, things are moving in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And I like being a part of that.
Yeah, and we love you for it. We really do. And that's what we're here to do today, to really celebrate you and the work that you've done, not only on the screen, but in the community too. You know?
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Can we give a round of applause for that? I feel like we're on a live show right now.
This is just a love fest. This really is like therapy. It's like therapy, a feel-good thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Station 19.
7 seasons of Station 19 and back to the mothership.
Yeah, so what was that transition like for you?
I mean, when I got the call to go do Station 19, I assumed I was getting fired.
Right.
I assumed they were going to kill my character off. And then when Station 19 was coming to an end, I was like, okay, let's get ready to go back outside. You know what I mean? It's cold outside. We got to go back out and sing for our supper. And then they gave the call and they said, we think there might be some story here to tell.
Yeah.
For Ben and for me, I was almost even more than Ben. I was like, is there more Ben and Bailey story to tell? Because I'm almost more protective of that relationship than I am protective of Ben. I mean,
why so?
I mean, how many powerful black couples can you name in mainstream television?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And we've been playing this relationship for 15 years now. And so people of all walks of life, I don't care what your skin color is, I don't care what your religion is, will say that their relationship goals. And that feels great.
And you live it in real life. You're a family man in all ways.
Yeah, it's family first. Like, I knew I wanted to be a dad before I ever found a woman that I actually wanted to marry.
Yeah?
You know, I've always known I wanted to be a dad. That was like the whole game. And then I had to figure out how to actually be a decent husband. To try to make that work, be actually like worthwhile part of a couple. But yeah, we just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary.
Wow,
And,
that is beautiful.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, give it up for that.
We love over here.
Right? Made it work. We got
25 years, and you guys met in college.
We met in college, so we got a few years before that. We've been together for a minute. It was just crazy because I'm only 30 years old.
That's the
right?
real crazy
right,
part
Ramona?
about it.
You know, only 30 years old. Tell them.
Right. How do you, when it comes to your character on the show, of course, and then your family life, how do you separate the two?
This is my job. This is, cool thing. It's my passion. It's the thing I love to do most in the world. It gets eyeballs on me, but if I could have my kids thinking I was a janitor,
right,
and don't know about this Hollywood stuff, this entertainment stuff, that's the best way to. But then they, the pandemic happened, and my daughter watched Grey's Anatomy all the way through.
That's her first time watching.
And then it was during the pandemic, and it, and suddenly I got a little less grief from my daughter at that point.
Oh.
I don't even know if that's true. She still gives me a lot of grief.
Do you remember your audition for the show?
You know what? I remember my first day on set because I got lucky. I didn't audition for this.
You didn't? I know that's right.
Well,
Come on,
yeah,
Dr. Ben.
I didn't have to audition.
No.
I did audition for Shonda for a pilot that she did that didn't go.
Okay.
I'm looking at the other dudes and I was like, that brother's gonna get it. I was like, so I'm just gonna go out here and I'm gonna make them wish they could give it to me. It's a little bit of a theater seating so they can bring in all the executives and everything like that. And I remember I jumped off the stage, the woman who was reading, I got down, and I'm supposed to be up here on the stage, and I just got down here, and like, I was like, I'm just gonna get out up in it.
Right.
And so I got that gig, and then it didn't go. And then they called me and said, do you want to come do a little guest spot on Grey's? Was supposed to do like 3-4 episodes.
Okay.
Then was supposed to do Bailey dirty, and then be out. Right, and I was like, oh, so it's like barbershop again. Here we go. It was like,
easy for me.
I was like, I know how to do this. I was like, I'm gonna have a lot of America hating me because everybody loves Bailey. And then one of Shonda Rhimes, one of her many superpowers is her ability to look at something and just go pivot, like right in the moment. Like, I know we were gonna do 3 episodes. Let it ride. She's like, let that keep rolling for a second and see what happens. And it's 15 years later now.
Wow. That's important.
It's you have no idea how important it is in my life.
No, seriously. And it's the longest running show. Like, when does it end? I want to ask her, but I don't think anytime soon.
Nope. Ain't nobody going anywhere for a minute. I mean, look, it'll end when the fans check out, but
I don't think we will.
Because look, with streaming, there's always new audiences coming. I mean, like, look, my daughter's 16 years old. There's always, I feel like 9th grade, give or take a year, is like required viewing for certainly all the girls. And pro tip, fellas, watch a little Grey's Anatomy so you can have the conversation with the girls who are watching Grey's Anatomy. Helps you out right there. Taught you something. But yeah, so it's like, and I think the reason why is because, and I think it's the secret sauce for the show, Shonda never forgot her inner fangirl, right? So she writes like a fan.
Right. Now, with all the roles that you play, it's always somebody who's in the forefront as far as leadership goes, right? And to know that you are also on the board for SAG-AFTRA, the union, an active board member too.
Yeah, I'm that dude. I show up.
Thank you, by the way. Let me shake your hand for that.
Hey,
I'm an AFTRA.
All right, I'm trying to get people paid. I'm trying to get people paid, trying to keep people working, and trying to protect people. It's part of it is just totally self-interested because I just want to make sure that I get paid and I'm protected.
Right.
But it's bigger than you. And so my mother was the president of the teachers union where I grew up.
Okay.
My mom was an educator. She taught learning disabled kids all growing up, and that always made for really, really interesting people around us. Like, I'd have kids with Down syndrome in the house, and then other teachers all around and all this. So it just gave you a perspective on the world and like, what are you doing with whatever you got going on?
Right.
You know, what are you doing for somebody else besides yourself? Really, where my union activism kicked off was I was doing a show called Sunset Beach. It was one of my first jobs. It was a daytime soap opera. Aaron Spelling, God rest his soul, hired me on 2 different jobs. I love him. He's not gonna pay you a dime more than he has to.
Right.
But I remember we found out that somebody came in and said, yo, the show's on in Zimbabwe. It's crazy. We were sold in like hundreds of countries, and soap operas don't do that. So we were like, that's fantastic. I said, that's great. Did I get my Zimbabwe check? And
I
it
know
was like,
that's right.
people were like, I don't know. And I was like, we made some calls.
Right.
We hadn't gotten the Zimbabwe check. And then then we came back around, we got the check back with a little bit of a penalty on it. And so we got some extra money because they were late paying us. And who knows if we would have ever gotten paid.
I don't think you would have had
right?
you not said,
People see what they can get away with. So that's when I started paying attention. Like, the union is there to protect me, but it only works if I work it.
Yeah.
So that's when I started showing up and opening my big mouth. And so, you know, I was the negotiation we just did. We got $1 billion contract, which is about 3 times what we usually get. But we ended up going on strike.
Talk to me about all of it.
I go into negotiations. My attitude is, I try to solve problems. Because if me and the other workers got a problem, you're gonna have a problem.
Right.
Because when you lose your workforce, you know, you got nothing. So black actors been in Hollywood since the beginning of movies, right? But there's no black actor who, I mean, you do here because this is BET.
Right.
But there's no black actor who really feels trust that when they walk into hair and makeup on any given set, that there's somebody in there who can take care of them.
Right. And that's why I'm so grateful for BET. Hey, Nakia, for
It's
real.
It's like I had that on Eve, and I have it on, I've had it the entire time on Grey's Anatomy. Station 19, we had it. Almost every other show I'd walk in, I'd be like, okay, am I used to taking my own time, my own dime to go get my hair cut, go do whatever I gotta do? And God help all the black women I've worked with who are like, yo, I get up 2.5 hours before I would normally get up. You know, meanwhile, your colleagues who are Caucasian or what, you know, roll out of bed, wash their hair, and roll into hair and makeup and get protected soup to nuts. So we got into that negotiation. As part of the negotiations as well. So of course we're having a big conversation about AI and protections, and we're having a conversation about money, but it's also like just basic dignity.
Right.
And we made a lot of strides on that. So it's like those are the things that, like, you know, I don't usually. It's so funny doing an interview actually talking about this because usually it's like, you know, I'm low key about my stuff. I show up, I do my stuff, and I don't.
No, this is important because you're
about
changing the game on the inside
Trying
for black people, and not only that, but for entertainers.
Yeah.
A lot of times they make us feel like you should be happy to be here.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Know your worth and know that, like, look, you know, yeah, I'm lucky to be here, and you are lucky to have me.
Yeah.
So let's both hang out.
Right.
Let's have that conversation. Because I'm not begging. I'm not a beggar. I'm professional. You hired me for a reason, and I'm thankful to be here, and you should be thankful to have me because I bring something. Otherwise, you wouldn't hire me.
Right. An asset, not a liability.
Thank you very much.
Come on with it.
Right. Speak on it.
Absolutely. Now, when it comes to a lot of the chosen things that you've done, like being on the board and just being such a community man and really making sure that we're good on all ends, what would you say is your favorite part of it all when you look back at your career and you're able to see all the stuff that you've done?
Oh, you know what? I mean, it's funny because Kristen and I were just talking about it in the car. It's like I do a lot of work in anti-gun violence. Because it impacts the black community disproportionately,
right?
In a way, you know. And I have family members who are who've been victims of domestic abuse and who, you know, I have people in my family who one of their earliest memories is being on the lawn while, you know, somebody's waving a gun. Yeah. You know, somebody who's supposed to love you, kind of thing. So there should be a mechanism for somebody trying to get out of that house. For a woman, usually is the case, trying to get out of that house alive. Can we pull all the guns out of the house?
Yeah.
You know, like that's not hard. There's like 80% of the populace believes that makes sense.
Right.
Who's fighting? The people who sell guns. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
The work that you're doing is truly God sent for the people, and that's what we love you for the most on Black entertainment television. But you know, we're going to see you on Grey's Anatomy, but we definitely going to see you in these streets, putting on for us.
That's right, right? Always got to be out the streets.
And we love you for it. Thank you for all the work that you do on and off the screen. Jason George, BET Talks.
Thanks for having me.
Yay! Now, your middle name is Winston. Are you Jamaican?
No.
You're not Jamaican?
No.
He's not
no,
Jamaican, y'all.
Yeah,
Winston.
it's like both sides of the family from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
Winston was my dad's middle name. He'd have named us all, is Johnny Winston George, Johnny Winston George II, Jason Winston George, Jarvis Winston George. It's like, if he'd known what George Foreman did, he'd have named us all Johnny. He didn't think it was legal.